All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for March 12th, 2024. Let's start with Alcoa, 30-minute charts. Here was yesterday's trade that rolled over. Today it gapped down a little bit, short, standard risk, fell through the VWAP, through the Bollinger Band mean, through the 5-period volume weighted average price. That's this one right here. Reversed, and we took the exit at the skin of the dragon for 1, 2, 3, 4R. Really happy with that trade. AI was a short for a scratch. Caterpillar was a caught a 2 re-entry for about an R after it briefly hit the 5-day VWAP and then rolled over. So I took it at the as it was approaching the Bollinger Band mean. I didn't wait for the skin of the dragon. That was really helpful to me to help decide to get out of that. The 5-period anchored VWAP. Cliff was a strong move up and then started to break down back through the 5-day, approaching the 10-day anchored VWAP, got short with a standard risk. It rolled all the way down here and then back to the edge of the dragon, exited with a half. CVS, no trade. Diamonds was a 2-parter today. So this is DIA. So here was yesterday's close. Here was a gap up and go. So long with that standard risk. It ran all the way up here, then came back to the edge of the VWAP, and I exited right here for about 1R. It sold off all the way down here through the 10-day anchored VWAP and then reversed. And I bought it back at the same price that I had this morning, the same risk. And this time it gave us this run and then exited after it started to curl over before the market was. I didn't want any overnight risk on that one. Notice it failed at exactly the same spot, only this time I got a better exit than I did last time. And this one gave us 2R. So total of 3 on that play. I was really satisfied with that trade. So we did a good job there. No trade in Disney. There were a couple moves in there that were actually tradable, pretty orderly. Devon Energy, we got short after this big long run up curled over, and we got a fraction out of it. Emerging markets, gap up and a continuation for an R, no overnight risk. Ethereum was definitely tradable in the currency, but not in the ETF, which cannot be shorted. Mexico, collapsing dragon for an R, standard exit. EWZ, this is an SSC, crossing the Bollinger Band mean, north of the VWAP, north of the PSAR, north of the dragon, speculated in, and 3R at the usual exit near the close. Intel, this was the trade we started yesterday. It ran up across the 5-day, couldn't really hold that, so we exited when it came back to the dragon for 2R. IP, we closed yesterday's 1, 2, 3 entry for 2R. It continued to fail, so we got short, standard risk, half an R with a normal exit. Real estate, 1R, collapsing dragon, standard exit. Coke, this was that position trade from 2 days ago this was last Friday's 1-2-3 entry that closed well. And then it continued yesterday and closed well. And then today it continued. I probably could add a third position here. I just let those two run. And then in the last half an hour, it came back to the VWAP, and that felt like enough. So I captured 4 on this one and 7 on this one. So that's 11R in Coke in 3 days. Really satisfied with that trade. Best trade of the week. Regional banks, I missed the short. McDonald's, we closed yesterday's caught a 2. I tried the long and took a half an hour loss when it rolled over and there was no follow through. Merck was a SSC for an R. Microsoft was a SSC for 4R, and nice explosive move, and then just stabilized, and I took the dragon exit. Nice move. Marijuana, the continuation short collapsing dragon, and captured an R. Nike, collapsing dragon, short for an R. NVIDIA, SSC in a 1-2-3 entry, standard risk, and it rolled up through the Bollinger Band mean, through the 5-day anchored VWAP, rolled over, took the exit at the anchored VWAP, and that was 3R. Clean energy. So this one, this was yesterday's trade short. Continuation entry short on a collapsing dragon. Sold off hard. Exited here for half an hour. It rolled over. I got back in at the same level. Sold off hard, took the standard exit there, and that was a total of 2R. Palantir, 2R on a collapsing dragon. Rivian, no trade. Tesla, no trade. I missed the 1-2-3. There was a move in here that was available. I mean, that's a 3% move from here to there. I should have been able to catch that. Walmart. So this was yesterday's trade that lost an R and reversed. So we got back in and it closed well and then held it with an R in hand. And then it gapped up to here and then continued to go. So we added a second position. It continued to go and exited here. I mean, closed the day there. So we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6R on this one and 2R on that one. So we've got 8R on 2 positions, and I'm holding that one because it so decisively cleared this previous peak. That's all gravy and good news. So we're liking that. And then finally, no trade in US Steel, and XLI was a 2-parter. This was a COTA 2 continuation, standard risk. It rolled up. I exited for half an hour. It sold off and then rolled up again, re-entered, and it closed very well. So we've got an R here. So we made 1.5, and I'm going to hold that overnight because it made it above the 30-day anchored VWAP and got back to and above the 5-day anchored VWAP, and I'm thinking it's got a good chance to get back to this price level. So that's the move tomorrow. Is the potential. So we're liking that. Right, so this is the sniper trade of the day. This is in EWW, Mexico. This is on 3-minute chart. Here's the OR3. So the yesterday's close was there, and then here's the OR3, and then it rolls down short with a standard risk. Exit for about 0.5. Rolls down, that's a collapsing dragon re-entry, standard risk. Sells off, reverses, there's the R10, so I take the exit at the skin of the dragon. Probably gave back too much on that one, but that's the rule, so that's 2R. It rolled over again, so I get collapsing dragon or kata 2 short. This one lost half an R on a quick reversal. Minus 0.5. So that one and this one cancel. So we're at net +2 right now. Gets a little sideways chop. You see the VWAP here stabilized. Here's the Bollinger Band mean declining. It breaks through the VWAP or the PSAR. So we get short with a standard risk. It sells off. Here's the belly of the RL10. Comes up, I take the PSAR exit for 1R, so we're at 3. Rolls over after rejecting the Bollinger Band mean. It can't even get to the VWAP, and it rolls back through the PSAR, so that's a short. With standard risk, it gains 0.5. And then this is a kata 2 as it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, so standard risk. It goes through the VWAP, rolls up, rolls down. So we take about 1.5 out of that one, plus 0.5 is 2, and 3 is 5. So total 5R. Some choppiness in here, but this is typical of EWW with bite-sized chunks all day that are tradable and good liquidity. So I like that one today. Hamad minus 0.5, grinding inside in Devon. Does a great job crushing Microsoft. I like the re-entry and good measured exits in both of them to lock it in and stayed out of the chop. Well done. You know, he was respecting where the VWAP was, and it just kept the long side bias. When he's north of the VWAP, that's good to go. Gets 3.2 in NVIDIA. That's the same trade as the tech trade in Microsoft, only this is nice because NVIDIA had that relatively large sell-off and it's finding support. So that's a good, strong move. Had a potential re-entry, but you know, we had 3.2 and that's a good day at work. And another 1.6 in Tesla for another tech trade. So he's got Microsoft, Tesla, and NVIDIA for today. And that's fine. And you saw the re-entry and there was more available in here and didn't even take that. So you got the fat part of the curve. You got the tasty portions. Well done. George gets the emerging dragon here, standard risk, and 1.5 when this rolls over. I think I had that same trade in Walmart. I recognize that downward pattern, and the VWAP is sort of your timing model to get out of that. As long as it's north of the VWAP here, you're okay. You're giving it a chance to continue to resume, but it didn't, so you had good discipline getting out here. Reasonable, pretty much a scratch for the day with a couple re-entries in there. And then nice work on Devon Energy. You got what was available, avoided the chop, and smoked Caterpillar in the industrials for 1.2. Perfectly executed, perfectly played. When that morning volatility is over and the trend is up, You got plenty of upside potential. It wants to get back into this price action, so that's relatively low risk. And then you took what was there for 1.2. So just really well done all the way across the board. Well done, fellas. Proud of you. Pushing at the all-time high. I mean, that's just as good as it gets. We're within pennies of that all-time high, and this is the 150-day look back. So these anchored VWAPs, I'll just reinforce them this week. This purple one is anchored here. That's the 150-day fair value. So that tells you how strong this move has been. It's left behind that. So what that tells you is if that 30-day low breaks, that's the next thing that happens, but we got a long way to go. This black line is the rising 30-day anchored VWAP, and this is the 10-day, and this is the 5-day. So all of that is evidence of continued buying pressure across all of those different time periods. That's just consistently buying at higher prices. So you got to trust price above all other things. Yeah, this black line, this black line reflects price where it closed, and that right there is the all-time high. So we're just within spitting distance of breaking out to new all-time highs. Pushing 518 in SPY. Holy smokes. All good. It can't get any better than this. Bullish normal, strongly overbought, strong bullish trend. The only weakness, the only whisper here is the risk off and volatility. It's like we're always one bullet away from, I don't want to say it that way. We're always one news item away from some danger. So that just keeps us sharp, but we're going to keep following price. Handful of signals in the auto framer. Big wins today in Walmart, continuing to be great. You got to keep hitting that one hard. Walmart should, that's the tradable. 3M was good in the industrials. Breakout in Johnson & Johnson. Boeing still weak. Slightly up in Apple today. Maybe that's the bottom after this horrible month. Maybe a value play in there. Weakness in Boeing, strength in Johnson & Johnson. Oh, we just said that. That's right. Strength in ag, emerging markets, and consumer staples. And just a handful of auto framers here. Handful of auto framers. Real weakness in marijuana and clean energy. So that's why you see me hitting them hard. They're also among those extremely volatile symbols. So I'm hitting this hard. And you can see how low in the index scores they are, almost getting ready to break down below 3-month and 6-month lows. So I'm going to keep hitting those hard on the short side. Because why not? This is the residual strength in tech in the Qs, and in XLK is all this goodness and getting ready for breakouts. Dominated by summer in the Four Seasons. The usual suspects, all of the greens, that lots of a diversified strength, if I can say it that way. Again, marijuana, Tesla, clean energy, the top three. I haven't been able to hit Tesla. Well, I'm drawing a blind spot on them right now, but marijuana and clean energy have been pretty good. And I think that's everything we want to cover for today. It's pausing. It's not failing right here. So if this can just stabilize for a couple more days, then the RL30 is telling us there could be another run up here. That's just a long haul train climbing that hill. How far does it go until the election? You got to feel like there's something coming up here between now and May. There's got to be some kind of summer surprise for the news cycle that'll be anti-Trump and pro-Biden. So it'll be a positive economic recovery story, I think. So maybe some kind of surprise Fed move. All right, fellas, that's everything for today. Good work. Keep up the fire.